Well, on the 1st of June, that's a Sunday, Ukrainian special forces conducted some of the most audacious strikes in the history of warfare, possibly. They struck at Russian airbases deep inside Russian territory. They struck at bases as far apart as Murmansk, it's in the Russian north, close to the Arctic, to Siberia in the far east. 5 airbases were struck, and most importantly, they struck at strategic bombers that were parked at all of these bases, these 5 bases. The Ukrainians claim to have knocked out something like 41 of these strategic bombers and airborne early warning and control aircraft. It's very significant. It's the first time that any nuclear-armed country has lost such a large number of aircraft that are used to launch nuclear weapons on the ground. A couple of years back, I had the privilege of visiting some of these bombers while they were on display at an airbase outside of Moscow, the Zhukovsky airbase. I saw all of these aircraft which have been attacked or damaged in this operation.
Aerobatic team, Russian Knights, meet them.
Bomber from the Soviet Union. With the Indian Air Force's interest in acquiring the Tu-160 strategic bomber that you see behind me, could history be coming full circle?
I'll take you through what these aircraft look like and what are their essential features. First up, the Tupolev Tu-160. It's a variable sweep, nuclear-capable, heavy strategic bomber. It's one of the last strategic bombers to enter Russian service. In fact, it entered in 1987, the closing days of the Soviet Union. 41 of these aircraft were built. We're hearing that the production line has resumed. I call it one of the best looking military aircraft of all time. What's not to like about this aircraft? It's called the White Swan for a good reason. It's got nice clean lines. It has a crew of 4. It's a length of 56 meters. It's a little smaller than a 747 jet. Has a mean maximum takeoff weight of about 275 tons, 4 engines, a max speed of Mach 2. It can fly at supersonic speeds, twice the speed of sound. It has a maximum range of 12,300 kilometers and a combat range of something like 2,000 kilometers. Now, the most important part of this aircraft is, of course, the weapons. It has 2 internal bomb bays and it can carry 45 tons of weapons. Now, 45 tons is a lot of weaponry. That's equal to the combined weight of 8 MiG-21 fighter aircraft. Now, each of these rotary launchers has a mix of 6 KH-55 Kent cruise missiles. It can also carry a dozen Raduga KH-15 short-range nuclear missiles. Then we go on to the Tu-22M3. Now, the Tu-23M3 bomber was derived from the Tu-22 bomber. Now, the Tu-22, which entered service somewhere in the 1950s, was the Soviet Union's first supersonic bombers. Now, interestingly, both the Tu-22 from the 1950s and 60s and the new version of this aircraft, the Tu-22M3, were offered to India. The first Tu-22 was offered in 1971 and the second in the late 1990s. Both offers didn't come through. India decided not to buy or lease these aircraft. Now, about the features, the Tu-22M3 is 42 meters long. It has a max takeoff weight of about 126 tons and a max speed of Mach 1.8. That's slightly less than twice the speed of sound. It has a range of 6,800 kilometers and it has 2 turbofan engines. It's a twin jet, but it's also a bomb truck. It can carry 24 tons of weapons. It can carry something like 18 Fab 500 bombs, gravity bombs. It can carry 6 KH-15 missiles, up to 10 other missiles, including the Kinzhal, which is a hypersonic missile, the KH-22, KH-32, all of those kinds. So a very formidable bomb truck that entered Soviet service in the 1970s. Then we go on to the Beriev A-50, airborne early warning and control aircraft. The Russians call it the Shmel or the Bumblebee. NATO calls it the mainstay. Now, interestingly, the Indian Air Force also operates the Beriev A-50, but it uses the Israeli Falcon airborne radar on top. The IF acquired these a couple of years back. Three aircraft in the Indian Air Force's inventory, with two more reportedly on the way. This aircraft has a crew of about 5, and it has 10 mission operators which control the radar and direct aircraft onto enemy targets. It has it's a 46 meter long aircraft. It has a max takeoff weight of 170 tons, a speed of 850 kilometers per hour, a range of 7,500 kilometers, and a 4-hour endurance. But the interesting thing about this aircraft is that while they were built in very large numbers in the Soviet era, about 30 or 40 of them, only 8 of these were believed to have been flying before the attacks actually took place. In fact, over the last 3 years of the Russia-Ukraine war, the Ukrainians are believed to have shot down 2 of these A-50s. Then we go on to the Tu-95. It's a 4-engine turboprop-powered strategic bomber. It entered service way back in 1956. Now, this aircraft will be very familiar to Indian audiences because the Indian Navy operated 8 of these aircraft as the Tu-142. It's the maritime patrol version of the Tu-95 strategic bomber. The Indian Navy operated them for 3 decades, and you can still see some of these Tu-142s in museums across the country. Now, the Tu-95 has a crew of between 6 and 7. It's a length of 46 meters, max takeoff weight of 188 tons, max speed of 925 kilometers per hour, and a range of 15,000 kilometers. Carries up to 15 tons of ordnance. It has bombs, cruise missiles, can also carry aeroballistic missiles, but it has no internal bomb bay or weapon storage. All of these weapons are mounted on underwing pilots. Well, if you look at this attack, Operation Spider's Web, as the Ukrainians call it, it's possibly one of the biggest asymmetric attacks in the history of warfare, where drones costing just a few tens of thousands of dollars knocked out virtually irreplaceable strategic bombers costing billions of dollars. Now, these bombers are practically irreplaceable because all of them were built during the era of the former Soviet Union, and they're not in production anymore. They were all built in the 50s and the 60s, and as strategic bombers are across the world, they have very long service lives of half a century, 50 and 60 years back. In fact, the United States still flies its B-52s, which entered service in the closing phases of the Second World War, and of course immediately after the Second World War. So that's how long-lived strategic bombers are. They are strategic assets. Now, these are almost irreplaceable for the Russian Federation. There is talk of the Tu-160 production line being reopened, but those numbers aren't coming in as quickly as Russia would want them. So this is a big blow that has been struck right into the heart of Russia's strategic weapons carriers, the strategic bomber fleet. And there will, of course, be consequences for this action that the Ukrainians have taken.